Yes, everybody. My name's Steve, and we're welcome to the Varied Life. Today, we're going to talk about 3D printing stuff, as you can tell by the title, 3D printing, and it's not Creality K2 Plus. Let me fix that. Well, that's not it either. How about this? Creality K2 Plus. That's what we're talking about now. The Creality K2 Plus versus Bambu Labs. Bambu Labs has been a market force ever since they did their Kickstarter program with their P1P and P1S, and then they got the X1 carbon, and then they had their A1, then the A1 Mini, which is kind of a messed up thing because they released the A1 Mini and then they released the A1, which is a bigger version of the A1 Mini, and within months of each other. And I would have been pissed if I got the A1 Mini and been like, ooh, this is a cool, 3D printer. And then months later, just be, wait a second, now you're offering a larger, okay. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're talking about the Creality K2 Plus that is going to be coming out. And this is really interesting. We're going to take a look at this. So let me go ahead and pull this up and we'll share the screen. And there we are. It's under pre-order. This is really good because basically if you look at this, you will see it's kind of like this. So this over here on the left, that's the Creality K2 Plus. This over here is the Bambu Lab X1C with their AMS, and they've got an AMS or a multi-color filament spool holder thingy dryer, same as what we have over here at Bambu. So Bambu Lab started this, and then everybody kind of jumped on board. So now we're kind of seeing some competition coming into play, which is really good because competition breeds better products at lower prices, and it kind of makes mainstream the things that used to be like the first company that came out of it is, ooh, wow, I've never seen that before. Now we're seeing other companies popping up with like AMS systems or multiple reel spools of filament to dry it and switch colors and do all kinds of cool stuff. Bambu Lab started all that, and I'm pretty sure I'm kind of new to 3D printing. But with that being said, what we end up having here is Creality, and Creality's it's been interesting because, in all honesty, I haven't purchased a 3D printer. Well, I take that back. I've purchased a 3D resin printer, and so I've got some pretty cool little dudes here. I kind of like got, as you can see there, I got the alien dude. I just finished printing out on my resin printer the Elegoo Saturn III Plus, and there is the first. That's my very first lava base, and that turned out really good. I mean, this is just kicking it. Did some painting, airbrushing, learning how to do all that stuff. So anyway, I digress. But with that being said, that's my experience into 3D printing is with resin printers. And I'm looking to get into FDM printers, filament printers. And I almost got a filament printer first. But I didn't because I said, well, I'm going to do a hobby. I'll print out miniatures. I'll paint them. It's a hobby I want to do while I'm here in Korea. So resin won out because of the quality, the detail that you can get with a 12K printer. And that's what I pulled the trigger on. With that, FDM printers are coming in, and we're seeing a number of different manufacturers, Bambu Labs, Creality, and all this. And Creality in the past has had its problems. Bambu has had every company has its problems with quality control, getting the things to work right. Some companies have more problems than others. And, every year there's a new release, or every year and a half or something like that. So, and the same with resin printing. So when Creality came out and said that this K2 Plus combo, this is really interesting because they're in the second phase of their pre-orders. They're going to be released in like August or September timeframe, if I remember correctly. And it's got a multicolor printing. It supports multicolor filament up to 16 colors using 4 CFS color filament system or chroma filament system, whatever it is. It's a filament system. And so you could have, 4 of these put together so that you could have different types of materials, different types of colors with your filament, and it would automatically change. You could do multicolor prints, same with Bambu. But this is really interesting because there's some tilt detection, they have closed loop motors, and the big one here is this. The big one here is the build volume, 350 by 350 by 350. That is a big build area compared to when you look at the Bambu Labs, and the Bambu Lab has a build area of, 256? Yeah, the build area for the X1 carbon is 256 cubed. So what we're gaining is about 100 millimeters of size when we're talking about the difference between the X1 carbon and the Creality. So yeah, this is going to, because everybody's been asking Bambu and kind of pushing and saying, hey, we need a larger X1C. Is what it comes down to. People want a larger 3D filament printer that's larger than 256 because it's kind of like that's where everybody went because Bambu went there and some other companies like Prusa and so on and so forth. So that was the standard. And there were some companies that made larger ones. You had Elegoo, for example. They made some larger printers with their Neptune series and so on and so forth. But the reality, not the reality, but well, yeah, it is. The reality, larger build area printers in the past have been fraught with problems, and it's just kind of like, it just didn't blow anybody's hair back is what it comes down to. This is getting interesting because we heard rumors about Bambu having or working on a larger X1C. Just rumors, nothing else besides that. And everybody's asking Bambu and saying, hey, you guys have an outstanding product with your X1C, just make it a little bit bigger. And I will pay the money. I would pay the money because of the quality control that they have in their products, if they can get it to work right, input shaping, the whole 9 yards, heated chamber, working with different materials, and most of all, customer service and quality prints that are coming out in a timely manner. Yeah, no wonder Bambu has been doing well. So with that being said, if Creality can hit on all fours on this machine, this could be a serious contender, and it could do a couple of things. It could set them apart finally from Bambu. They would be able to not put them into first place, but it could put them into, third or second place in regards to FDM printers. And another aspect comes into this is customer service, repair, warranties, things of that nature. And Creality hasn't had a good track record. Some people say that they had great service, other people don't. You look up the Better Business Bureau and things like that, and you can make your own assessment. That's all I'm going to say. Same thing with Bambu. I mean, there's people that love their Bambu products. There's other people that don't like them and have had a ton of problems. But Bambu makes things right. And from what I see, Creality does too, but the general consensus is it just takes a little bit more effort. So it is what it is. But with this, in having a larger build plate area of 350 cube versus 256, yeah, that's almost 100 millimeters more, and that's enough for serious cosplayers or people that want to get into cosplaying armor and things like that to get a printer that is reliable, have a larger build area, do helmets and armor and all that. I mean, with a 350 cubed build area, you could do a full-size helmet in one go. So now comes in the other variables, speed and quality. Can it do it quickly as it says? I don't know. We'll see what happens. They have the sale going on, pre-sale. I wasn't able to get one. But some of the features on here are, and this is extremely small. I have no idea why their webpage is like this. Because it's like, you just can't, everything goes up. There we go. So the specifications on this that we see, yeah, and it's just, their website is rough. Let's just leave it at that. Let's see if we can scooch some things around here. But see, as soon as you put it back here, it just, they need to get better with their website. Let's just put it that way. I'm old, my eyes are tired, and yeah. So make it so you can resize the page, Creality, so older people like me with bad eyes can actually see the print that is on here. So what we end up seeing is that it's a file transfer. You could do USB, Ethernet, Wi-Fi. You could send your prints over the air. The build volume, like we ended up showing, is the good part. Rated voltage is 110, and you can go up to 240. So that means that me living in Korea would work. The dimensions you have, a 4.3 color touchscreen. The combo dimensions, it gives you that. The rated power, 1200 watts. And package dimensions, and we can see that it does PLA, ABS, PETG, PA, carbon fiber, PET, carbon fiber, and whatever else. But this thing weighs a little bit. Outside of all the packaging, this thing is 33.5 kilos, which is it's a beast. But that's kind of a good thing because you want something that's heavy and solid, that as this thing is moving around doing the 3D printing, you need to have some heft to it to mitigate some of the movement that happens within a machine. And when you get into larger machines, yeah, you need some weight. It has a monitoring AI camera. The combo weight, K2 Plus, the combo weight is 38.5 kilos, so almost 40 kilos. It has a calibration AI camera. Gross weight with packaging is 54 kilos. Has a filament runout sensor, which is really good. So if you're printing something and the spool runs out because you're at work, it will stop, and their CFS, that filament thing that sits on the top of it, can go to the next spool, or it can wait until you replace the spool yourself, so you don't lose hours and hours of printing and wasted filament. The printing speed is 600 millimeters per second, which is really interesting because when we take a look at the X1 Carbon, what we end up seeing is 500 millimeters per second, and then 20 millimeters or 20 meters squared for max acceleration of the tool plate. So 500 MMS. With this, we're going to get 600, and the acceleration is a little bit more with 30,000. So we're seeing this competition be coming out into the marketplace of 3D printers, and we're seeing people are bumping up the numbers. Now, does that mean that you're going to be printing at 600? No, absolutely not. For your everyday print stuff, it's kind of like the top speed of your vehicle, of your car. You're not going to go the top speed because you'd get a ticket and you'd probably get in a wreck. Same thing with these things. They can boast of a top speed, but you're going to ratchet that down to be within a speed limit because you're concerned not only about speed, but the biggest thing is quality. So you're probably going to be going down to around 400 or 500, something like that, 450, somewhere around there. But with Creality, with their higher top speed, that means that there is a possibility that this could print everyday items faster than the X1C. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Acceleration is faster, has a filament tangle sensor, printing accuracy of 0.1 millimeters, air purifier, so it probably just has a little carbon filter thing you put in, and yeah. Layer heights, 0.05 to 0.3, input shaping, which is very important. X1C has this as well as many other printers. And basically what it ends up doing is that the vibration that occurs from the machine being on and moving from one spot to another, the print head and all that stuff, there's an algorithm and computer stuff that takes all of those movements and the frequencies associated with that, and it can kind of ratchet down so it doesn't interrupt the print and give you lower quality, is basically what it comes down to. It's kind of like having shock absorbers on your car. So you could have a car like a rat rod that goes super fast with no shocks or really bad shocks, and you're going to feel every bump in the road. It's going to, it's going to be bad. It's going to be rough. It's going to be a bar hopper, and that's going to be it. But you want something that's going to give you some comfort and stability for the long haul, and that's what you need for FDM printing. APS dual gear direct drive extruder, has inside lighting, filament diameter is the same, auto bed tilt calibration, so auto calibration with that. Nozzle diameter is 0.4, which is kind of the industry standard right now. I don't know if they offer additional nozzles for like 0.2, but or 0.6. That's something to look into. They use their own printer for slicing software, Creality Print 5.0, and then it talks about heated bed temperatures, active heated chambers. So again, with some of these materials, you need to have a heated chamber and a constant temperature so that filament and material that you're printing with prints successfully. Because if you don't, if there's variances in the heat inside that enclosed chamber, you might not be able to get the print on the material that needs that heat. RFID filament, which is optional, it's optional, which is similar to what Bambu has done. So if you buy Bambu filament spools and you put it into the AMS system, it will automatically recognize the RFID, and so you don't really have to do anything because the machine recognizes it. They have this similar thing, which would be really interesting. Are you stuck buying their branded filament just for the RFID, or can you buy their filament and then take out the little RFID and then just put it on a generic spool of PLA, take their PLA, take that little RFID and put it on a generic spool of PLA? Can you do that? That would be interesting to find out. Flexible build plate, it's kind of normal. G-code, anti-tilt auto leveling, which is the standard for these days. There's no reason to not have auto leveling with 3D printing, FDM printing, and it's even getting to the point of resin printing as well. We have Elegoo with the Saturn IV Ultra that has automatic bed leveling. So, that is becoming a thing. There's so many people out there that are like, well, I want to start off small. I want to start, and it's like, what, you can go small, but you will probably end up buying a smaller, less expensive system to dip your toe in the water, and then you're going to upgrade, and you'll buy some upgrades and you'll add that, and then you'll get another bigger printer because the build plate area is too small, so you're going to move up to 256 cubed, and then you're going to see some new bells and whistles, and then it's going to say like, 350 cubed build area. That's what so what is going to be left in the wake that's going to decimate your wallet is buying multiple iterations of FDM printers, starting out with a beginner FDM printer. I really just don't think that that's a thing. Don't go for the cheapest and hope for the best, because you won't get it. I think that you buy once and cry once, and then you're good to go. I think an exception to this would be Bambu, in the fact that you can get the P1S, which is kind of the step down from the X1C, but if you're only doing PLA and basic materials, that'll do everything that you need to do, minus a few bells and whistles, and you can get it at a cheaper price. I think that would be worth doing. But going super cheap and then buying another one, then another one to replace it, another one to replace it, and then eventually you get an X1C or whatever the awesome printers that are coming out, why do that? Because over the long run, you're going to spend too much money. So anyway, this is kind of interesting on what we see, and the bed size for this printer, the Creality, the K2 Plus. Now, I've seen some videos, and other people have probably seen them too, where Creality has had some problems in the past. Of course, there's been problems with other companies like Elegoo and their Giga, and that just failed miserably. And some of their 3D printers, FDM printers, have had problems in the past, and people don't talk about those anymore. It's kind of like that drunk uncle that everybody has that's crazy, that shows up from time to time, but nobody wants to talk about. Every company has done that to some degree in some way, shape, or form. But with this is going to be really interesting, because they're following in the footsteps of Bambu. But the thing is they're improving on the bed size, they're improving on some other things, and so they're just getting, it's like two Olympic runners or I shouldn't say Olympic runners, let's just say national runners that are eventually trying to get to the Olympics. And they're like neck and neck. And Creality's just a few steps behind, and now they're coming out with this, which is a larger bed frame or build area. And so they're getting within reaching distance of Bambu. Now, of course, this is a pre-release. It's going to be released in, like I said, August or September. And the thing that we need to remember and we think about is we've seen companies make great promises about printers and things like that. And then when they get to market, they're fraught with all types of problems. There's, tons of firmware, mechanical problems as well, hardware problems. And then those companies just go the way of the dodo. And one of those is like Peopoly, the Magneto X, that was supposed to be the hair blowing back next big thing, and that's kind of disappeared from YouTube. It's you don't see that being pushed as being these magnetic rails and so on and so forth, greater accuracy. I kind of wondered if it was good. I was really interested in that. But I was also kind of hesitant because when they showed up at a couple of shows, their 3D printer wasn't working. So it's like they rushed it to market, and now we're not hearing anything from them. So yeah, is Creality going to be able to, hedge their bets? Are they going to be able to answer all the advertised claims in a product that actually works and meets those standards? I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. It'll be very interesting to see. But if they do, and all the stuff that they put in their advertisements, and if it can print faster in everyday items for example, better than the X1C, or even just at the same quality as the Bambu X1C, but do it faster and have the larger build area, they could be a few feet ahead of Bambu in the race. So there are rumors that Bambu is going to end up, Bambu Labs is trying or rumored to be building a larger build area printer. So, and they have big sales, their second anniversary, and they got some outstanding deals. If we took a look at some of these things that they have, let me just kind of move this around a little bit. What we end up seeing is like their A1 Mini, $200. $200. Granted, the build area isn't that big, and this is, again, the A1 Mini came out, and everybody's like, ooh, it's got multi-filament, and oh, that's awesome, it looks really cool. And then a number of months later came out with the A1, and it was a larger build area, and people are like, damn it, I just bought the A1 Mini, and now you came up with this? You didn't even wait a year, Bambu. Come on, seriously? So I think what Bambu is doing is they're kind of feeling the crunch, and for some reason they went that route. Lesson learned, it is what it is. And then they ended up having their P1P, which is only $499, and then they have the P1S, which is a more advanced and closed version, more bells and whistles. That's $599, so it's $600. And then when we get down to the X1 Carbon by itself, it used to be $1,200, $1,400. Now it's $1,050. So these prices are going down. And the X1 Carbon combo with that AMS system is $1,300. So that's very, very interesting. And if we take a look at, the K2 Plus, which it has a multi-filament AMS type thing with dryer and heater and whatever. We're looking at $14.99 and during the pre-sale. So they're trying to keep pace with Bambu and offering and doing, hey, these pre-orders and people getting them at 50% off. Some of the other stuff. There's a 50% off. It'll be shipped on September 20th. That's limited. That was 5 June, 6 June. They're going to have some more, but it's only 40%. 30%, 20% off. So, yeah, and the deliveries from September to October this year. So limited to 1,000, 800, 500, 200. So they're pushing for this. So this is really interesting. So this is, I mean, to have a larger build area, active heated chamber, closed loop motors, which give you more torque, and it's better than an open one. Direct drive extruder, that kind of looks like, hopefully it's all metal construction. If that's the case, that would be good. Tilt detection, which is if you're printing something and it prints up onto the build plate, and then if your print head knocks the unit over, or the print like tips over, like if this is the print and it tips over, the machine should, I'm guessing, is stop and discontinuing the print, or stopping it so you can reset, and then maybe you could do that. So some type of stop or error detection. So, but yeah, the big build area is going to be, I think, the thing that's going to push this into the market. And if they can live up to their advertised claims, Creality is going to have, they're heading in the right direction. So with that being said, this is going to push Bambu to get a fire under their ass and to get going with, a larger size printer. We're talking about 350 here. 350 cubed, and they got some videos and stuff like this. 16 colors, 30,000, 600, for speed and the print head and all that stuff. But yeah, it looks very, very good. So yeah, But with that, what about FLSUN? This is one that it has a larger build area as well. So the S1, the FLSUN S1, has a built-in filament heating system, which is awesome. It has CPAP motors. It's extremely loud, but it's extremely fast. The speed is 1200 millimeters per second, which is double of what we saw with those other printers. Acceleration is 40,000. The flow is 110. You can have all the speed that you want, but really what it comes down to is the amount of flow that you can have coming out of that head is going to limit how fast you can go. So, but FLSUN has seemed to, they're doing 8-minute benchies, and they're not bad. And their build area is, 320? Yeah, build area is 320 by 430. So it's kind of a cylinder type of thing, and then it has kind of like a grain silo where it's got that pointed top. So you have some room up there, but still a 320 build volume is better than 256. Now, granted that the build area on the FLSUN S1 is round versus square that you have with the X1 Carbon. If you do I wonder if I still have that. Let me take a look and see if I have that. Because what I was taking a look at was the FLSUN and the Bambu build areas to see what those things look like. And yes I do. Yes, I do. And we're going to take a look at this. So what we end up seeing here is that is the FLSUN. 320 is the build area. And so we're going to see that. And with the Bambu X1C is 256 squared. Of course, it's cubed actually because it's three-dimensional. But just putting it on a one-dimensional plane, if we superimpose this and we can see that, are we getting a full size, or are we getting a little bit more? We're getting a little bit more. You could say that you print something that goes all the way from this corner to this corner, and so you're losing some real estate with the FLSUN S1. But overall, we've got some more area there. And 256 squared or cubed, which 256 millimeters high, that's what your limit is. Now we're going to get at least 320 and a little bit more. So the FLSUN is looking really interesting in the fact that, now we're getting to the point where, I'll say that. Now we're getting to the point of where we're seeing a build area, even though it's round and circular and in a cylinder type configuration, we've got a little bit of playroom up here. It's still larger than the X1C. You can still do all these things What do we end up seeing? Print, yeah, 320 by 430, which is the highest point, which I really wish that they would measure not only the round one-dimensional, but how far that goes up to where it starts to taper right at that. What is that distance? I haven't found anybody to explain that or show what that is. But the printing speeds of this, obviously you're not going to be printing at the speeds that are fully advertised as their top speeds. But again, you're going to be able to print faster than the X1C. You're going to be able to print faster than the Creality K2 Plus. And you're going to be able to do all this stuff, heat, what else we end up? Auto leveling, the whole 9 yards, real-time monitoring, time-lapse photography. And here's the problem I have. Most of the 3D printers, even the resin 3D printers that have cameras on them to do time lapses, are the worst cameras in the world. And I don't understand why somebody just can't get a nice webcam, USB plug, and plug it in. That's all you got to do. Get away from the HD 1080 whatever cameras that they're throwing into these systems. Those things are the way of the dodo. I mean, you have to seriously get a Logitech. You can plug it in and you can get better resolution with that than you can with some of these cameras that are coming in the majority of these FDM printers and resin printers for that matter. Let's get with the program. So anyway, filament detection, run out, clog detection, vibration compensation, auto leveling, first layer detection, all of this stuff, flow calibration, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, this is getting pretty interesting. And if we look at how much the FLSUN S1 is going to be, we're looking at $1,300. So, that makes you go, So it used to be $1,500, now it's $1,300, and they even have a let's take a look at. They have the T1, and come on, seriously, yes, I know, the T1, which doesn't have the filament dry box and things like that, but it's still 1,000 millimeters per second, max speed, 30,000 millimeters per second squared for the acceleration, which is still better than Bambu Labs and, Creality and a lot of other printers. Fully enclosed, auto leveling, the whole 9 yards. It's just waiting for that. But still, the filament can go in here, but it just doesn't have a dry box. Of active drying, you could put some desiccant in there, I guess. But yeah, it's a lot smaller footprint, but I think the build area is smaller, 300? Nope, 260. 260 by 330 is what we end up seeing here for the build volume. Which, see if we can get that a little bit bigger. So the build volume 260 by 330. So we're still seeing that little cylinder thing, but still 260 is bigger than 256 than what we get with the Bambu X1C and taller. So I mean, that's a win right there. And how much is this going to be? $600? Good Lord. That's entirely doable. This could be very interesting. So we're seeing a lot of different products that are coming to the market, and interestingly enough, I fully expect to see Bambu coming out with a larger printer with a build area of at least 300 or 350, maybe even 400. I think 400 you're going to get into some problems because then you have momentum, you have the weight of the build plate, you have the bigger you get, the more complications and things that you have to overcome, which require more heavy duty components and things like that. Let me lighten this up a little bit. So yeah, that's something to take into consideration. We're going to see that amidst all of these things, Bambu came out with their X1, their X1C, the P1P, P1S, and the X1C, and the tide comes in and it raises all boats. And I think that's what we're seeing, because we're seeing Creality come in, we're seeing other companies coming in with these Core XY printers, and then with the FLSUN in the Delta printer, which just seemed to be a novelty printer, is now boasting speeds that can get faster, and if they can get better quality, the same or better quality prints than the X1 Carbon, yeah, that could be a Bambu killer right there. At least move them into the top three. So maybe FLSUN is going to be in the running of the mix, but can they provide good customer support? Can they do they have parts on hand? Customer service is very important. There's a lot of companies that have problems, and every company will, but do they have good customer service? And I don't know. There's some companies, it's just like people refuse to purchase from certain companies because it took 4, 5, 6 months to get an answer to their problems with broken issues and quality control things. So and the thing of we hear the stories of FDM printers of people that are saying, oh, well, this was broke and it's a manufacturer defect, so I contacted Bambu or whatever company, and it's like I talked to multiple people, they all want the same information as if I never gave it to them in the first place, so it's just they have to reinvent the wheel every single time, and that gets frustrating. Yeah, those people, if they can nail down the quality, the speed and the quality of the product and have good customer service to back that up, if they can get that trifecta of excellence, we're going to have some leaders in the FDM market, or even the resin printing market for that matter. But we're talking about FDM printers. So, and the prices are coming down. As each company comes out with new technology and new things and new bells and whistles, it is driving, again, that tide is rising, and it's rising all boats. And the good thing is that it's bringing those prices down. So, yeah, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. So I'm very tempted on the T1 because of the price is only $600. That's if it ever comes into play. Currently sold out, notify when available. Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with all of these companies, that we have with Creality and Bambu and FLSUN and Elegoo and things like that. It'll be really neat to see
we had some big
what these companies bring to market. So anyway, that's going to be it for today. I thought this would be kind of an interesting video, and seeing the information and seeing some new pre-release items coming to market. And it just makes me wonder if this is going to light a fire with Bambu. It's going to light a fire with some other companies. And FLSUN, could they have done a square build plate and got even more real estate? I think you're kind of limited because of the gantry and the arms and how that works. But yeah, the technology is there to get faster and faster printing and better printing out of the box in a minimal amount of time compared to what it was 5 and 10 years ago, where you basically, your job was tinkering with the printer to get it to work. So even though I don't have an FDM printer, I do have a background in electronics. I worked with security cameras, prison doors, control panels, camera systems, DVRs, stun fences, the whole 9 yards. I've mechanical locks and doors. I've done a lot of stuff like electronic-wise, and yeah, this is really getting interesting. So I just kind of held off because life gets in the way, but I got the resin printer, and now I'm looking for an FDM printer, and all of these things are coming into play, and I'm not really sure which one I want to get. So it'll be interesting to see the first reviews of the Creality K2 and see how it stands up against the Bambu X1C. And then with the FLSUN coming out and seeing some good videos, is it going to be in the top 5? Remember we talked about that Magneto X from Propoly or Creality or whatever it is, the name of that company. And that was supposed to be the latest and greatest thing, better than sliced bread, and now we don't hear anything about it. Is it going to go the way of the dodo for FLSUN and the K2 Plus? I don't know. Interesting. Stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. And if you have more experience than me in FDM printing, which I have zip zero zilch. Put your opinions and 2 cents in the comment section down below, and I'd really like to read what you have to say in regards to all of this, because it's getting kind of interesting. So with that being said, have a good one. We're going to continue on with the rest of our day here in Korea, and we'll see you on the next video. Peace. So many decisions.